And greetings, fellow humans. As advertised, I am going live. I'm going to give a break to see if people swing on over. By all means, if you're watching this, share this, please. Share this and help me go live. I want to be a special boy that goes live. So, yeah, tonight it's just us having some fun, just going silly. And the idea is to just not take ourselves too seriously while we promote our books. Yes, we want to take over the world, but at what cost? At what cost? So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about 2020. This is my collection of essays, short stories, and poetry. It was originally a bilingual collection. And yeah, for a hot minute, I was like, yeah, it's just going to be a bilingual collection. And then I realized that some people don't speak English. Other people don't speak Spanish. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do versions in English and Spanish. Just because why not? So, again, greetings. My name is JD Estrada. I'm an indie author from Puerto Rico. I am located and based in Atlanta. I don't know. I just wanted a closer look to the real life Walking Dead when stuff went crazy. As per usual, or as people should do often, please like and subscribe this channel. Yo, how you doing, man? The writers making so much work for ourselves. That is definitely the case, my friend. We can talk about that also, about just being busy and doing a lot of things and getting organized. But tonight we're just going to be talking about this book, this pretty little book. So I'm a multi-genre author. Some people see it as a jack of all trades. Some people see it like, oh, he doesn't specialize in anything. And the thing is that if you listen to the playlist of any music that I listen to during the day, any day, you're going to realize that it's pretty crazy and it's pretty varied. And the same goes with my work. I've worked in advertising, communications, public relations, marketing, all sorts of things, all sorts of categories, all sorts of clients. So variety is very much in line with what I do and what I have done as an author and as a professional. This collection, hey Anita, how you doing? We have Miss A.F. Stewart here, wonderful, also multi-genre author and someone whom I appreciate and respect a lot. I'm going to be talking about this. This was interesting. Why? So why did 2020 happen? I already mentioned that some people speak English, other people speak Spanish, and man, some people were like, are you going to translate it? And it's not like it was a huge amount of people that were saying, oh, you have to do this. By the way, cheers. And we have Go Windy in the house, his house. And yes, Heyo Refresh. Yes, I will have to ask for advice from Miss Margaret Pernard and from Mr. Joe Compton and anyone just to make this go a bit more smoothly. So people were like, could you translate it? Or, I'm curious about this, but I don't read or English or Spanish. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then other people are like, oh, are you going to translate your other work? And that's when it gets interesting. Because I've been asked for translations of Only Human, Shadow of a Human, Given to Fly, of stuff like that. And the question is, can I do it? And here's the first offering of me translating my own work. I am definitely, I'm going to suffer the consequences of making this live hard to find. by tasting this a little further on in the broadcast. Most of my books are in English, so I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be easy to do an all English version of 2020. It's going to be a breeze. Little did I know how wrong I was, which happens normally with my projects. I have a nonfiction collection called For Writing Out Loud. It's based from the essays that I've written on my blog. And then when I put it in book form, I was like, okay, so I group it here and I group it there, and I started editing and I realized, wow, this is not going to be a quick thing. It's not, you can cut it and paste, copy and paste and just put it out there. But I give it a lot of love, and I gave this a lot of love too, and beta readers. And also because the concern is always, did it translate well? Does the meaning stay there? So why should you read this? First off, to support a struggling indie author. Second off, if you've read 2020, it's interesting to compare the English version of the text here with the ones in Spanish for several reasons. Something that I do a lot of in my day job is what we call transcreation. Transcreation, rather than just a translation, transcreation is when you take into account cultural relevance and significance, connotations, and just make it relevant. Something that a lot of people just don't realize that it's so important. And examples of poor translations exist for every language. It's insane. See, this is me. I need guidance later. I am but a Padawan. But for anyone, hey, that's my nephew. So I just put the I put the link to the stream. Oh Lord, see, I'm rusty, guys. I'll get the link to the book later, because I did put it into this. It should be in the description of the video. See, we chanced upon it at the same time. So why should you read it? It's curious because language is such a magical thing, and we take it for granted every single day that we speak symbols that connect us to other people everywhere. And when you do a translation, translating that meaning, translating that essence, it's not just Google Translate. People think it's that easy. And I've read books that have been Google translated to hell and back again, and it was not pretty. But it is what it is. So I am a multi-genre author. That means I've written urban fantasy, middle grade fiction, nonfiction, poetry, a variety of poetry. I have happy poetry. I have dark poetry. I have adult poetry, not erotica, but adult language and stuff like that. Haven't done erotica. Not my jam. If I ever get that itch, I'll massage it. I won't scratch it. But yeah, this is me pushing my range as much as possible in terms of what I can do in essays and short stories and in poetry. The short stories are pretty varied. I think the best short story I think I've written so far is here. I'm not going to read it because it's a little on the long side. It's called Journeyman, and it's about a boxer. There's another one called The Puzzling Pandora Predicament, and it's kind of sci-fi. There's one called Celestiers, and it's more fantasy. And then when you flip it to the Spanish side, the stories there are Lane Change, Cambio de Carril, which is about a young man who's stuck in traffic. Something's eventually gonna involve a banana, trust me. Cambio de Carril is a guy who's stuck in traffic, and just it's this internal monologue, and it's pretty intense. That one, I can talk about that a bit more. I'm not going to read that one either because it's a little on the long side, and I don't want to keep you guys too long from dinner. I want to keep this light and mellow. And finally, sorry, not finally. There's another short story I'm not going to read either. It's called Between the Lines, and it has to do about a busker in New York who's from Argentina, and he finds a little friend that lives in his guitar. I'll leave it at that. So, multi-genre guy. Since the first event that I've gone, I've had middle grade short stories, I've had urban fantasy, and I've had poetry. And it went from hand-bound short stories, copies of the Daydreams on the Shepherd Shore that have grown to a full volume, and the second volume is upcoming. That's in 19 books, and 20 will be when I get to 2020, working on the Spanish version. There's a variety of topics. The essays are meant to be conversation starters. They're meant to get your brain going. I don't need you to agree with me. I just need to listen. And I think the long lost art of dialogue and conversation is just insane, man. You know, we can get along so great, and people insist otherwise. I don't know why, but it is. So, tricky translations. For one moment, I was like, yeah, I'll be able to use Google Translate. It'll accelerate the process. There's just one caveat to that. What happens when the Spanish that you write is pretty Puerto Rican? Basically, a text translator was not of much use to me. Normally, you can get about 40%, 50%. If it's something very technical, you can actually get a pretty good, pretty decent translation done with Google Translate, going section by section and meticulously checking the back translation. That's something that a lot of people don't check. But here, I pretty much had to do it from scratch. So it was intense. And I realized from the get-go that it was going to be a little bit much. But even being a little bit much, it was interesting having to engage with these pieces again and just looking at them in a new light, because when you do a translation, some people just focus on, it has to be the exact words. And it's like, it doesn't have to be the exact words. So for instance, with the poetry, as soon as I started, I was like, I won't have to obey the rhyme scheme, because if you wrap your head around that and around anything else that will block you, you will get blocked. I wanted it to come off as natural, and I wanted it to flow as much as possible. And the curious thing is that how I write in Spanish, when it's translated, it has a very unique and particular flow, which I thought was pretty interesting. Part of my job, my day job, is correcting and proofreading. So there are still typos in my work on occasion. Hopefully I keep it to a minimum. Sometimes I find it and I have to correct it. It is what it is. It is the reality. I don't think they're heinous enough to take away from the experience. But still, when you translate a work, again, people focus on the words. I need the precise, correct words to be there. I need to do this. And they don't look at the big picture. Cambio de Carril was a very tricky short story to translate, because there are so many things that don't translate unless you live in Puerto Rico and unless the story is in Spanish. So there are like paragraphs and paragraphs that I had to cut out because it didn't make any sense. It was me making a Spanglish joke because the man in question who's driving, he's thinking about his high school teacher who always corrected him when he would say something in Spanglish. So that entire aspect of that story I had to remove and replace with other stuff, which was very interesting. I could have just left it, but it just felt so awkward. And at the end of the day, awkward doesn't move my soul, and is not something that I think is even remotely acceptable. So I have that. Tools that you can use for translation. Google Translate is there. Word reference is there. But honestly, they're beyond the tools that you can use. There are some things that I do in my process, and especially in the verification process, that I highly recommend. It's my method. Depending on the piece, sometimes I put a paragraph in the translated language, and then below it, I do the back translation. So I'm reading it at the same time. And other times I do it in 2 columns. So basically, I'm reading in tandem and making sure that what I say in one side makes sense on the other side. This is after I've cut out whatever doesn't make any sense, which is super crazy. So yeah, my Puerto Rican Spanish is intense because I knew it was there. I just didn't know to what degree. And I realized that when sometimes I speak with people from other countries, from other Latin American or Hispanic countries, and they go like, what did you say? It's not just the speed that's throwing them off. It's the language of what I'm using. When I do the full Spanish version, it's going to be an interesting process because basically all the English version, I suspect it's not going to be as Puerto Rican as the second half, which I kind of like because right now the second half has a lot of very Puerto Rican things, a lot of colloquialisms and stuff that will resonate a lot with that audience. And the first half is my opportunity to go to a broader Spanish speaking audience. So it's going to be an interesting challenge. And speaking of interesting challenges, part of why you're here, part of why you're here is because I'm going to try this. This is Brach's turkey dinner plus apple pie and coffee candy corn. Whoever thought this was a good idea was probably doing a bet, I suspect. It says the flavors here are green beans, roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, and stuffing. So I'm just gonna open it and see what it smells like. I don't expect it. It's still in date. Don't think I'm gonna get. What the hell? It's just it is very strong of coffee. That initial smell. I'm throwing here various. I'm not gonna eat the entire dish, but just so you can. Wow, it really smells. Not smells as in stinks. Exactly. They do make regular candy corn. I have other bag, but it smell of coffee. It says turkey dinner, apple pie plus coffee, and the first thing that you smell is coffee. So let me spread this out so that you can see. Okay, this is one flavor. This is another flavor. This is another. I'm seeing more flavors here than I thought there were. So maybe I'm gonna get. Oh Lord. You know when you see something that you go like, this is not that good of an idea? That's what it looked like. So, it is supposedly, where do I start? It is green beans, roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing. So, where do I start? Do I go for the worst first? Yeah, separate dishes. It is crazy. So do I go for the worst first, or do I see this has like the jelly beans from Harry Potter? I forget the Birdie Bots. It's the every flavor bean. That is so cool. The first story I was gonna read, but I'm actually I switched to another one that I wanted to flip. So we'll get to the reads. I will taste one. I will wash down the flavor, and then we'll do a read, and then we'll do it like that. That sounds cool. Turkey, gravy, Birdie Bots. Yeah. Yes, got it. I agree that cranberry has to be last and green beans. So, okay. I know what's cranberry and I know what's green beans. I'm not sure what the others are. So let's start with this. This could be the stuffing or the turkey. These are this. By the way, if you eat candy corn and don't do this, you're not eating candy corn, right? Mm. Those are not bad. Is there one with applesauce? Apple pie and coffee. That's apple pie. Apple pie, good. Yes, it is waxy, sugary deliciousness. This is this is a go for me. Let me get some water. Pardon me for chewing and speaking at the same time, but this is alive, people. Okay, so far, not bad. It's candy corn. It's super waxy, and I've got this mic turned way up so that people can hear me. You have unlived, yes. It's something that I've done as a kid, and I think it's pretty common. So let me wash it down. And do the first reading of the evening to show you how much variety there is. There's actually an essay. It's called "An Obsession with Inches: Waist versus Penis." Let's be completely inappropriate because it's hump day. In a material world such as ours, few measurements have more selling power than the inch. Miles per hour might sell cars through speed and gas efficiency. Pounds might sell a variety of nutrition programs and is quite close on the scale to inches. But nothing can compete with the almighty inch. You see, only the inch can be responsible for billions of dollars in sales for fitness, weight loss, penis enlargement, bust reduction or augmentation, height, sexual paraphernalia, food, and Lord knows what else. No other measurement is as versatile in its applications to sell. In fitness, you can lose 8 inches from your waist or increase 2 inches in your biceps. In weight loss, body mass index, BMI, depends on the measurement of your body versus your height and build. In penis enlargement, well, that's pretty self-explanatory because rarely, if ever, will you see anyone want to trim anything from their pole vault. Breasts are another matter altogether because the search for the perfect bust can last several years thanks to the sheer materialistic excellence of plastic surgeons saying less is more and more is wonderful. For height, heels are sold in various ways, often referring to the size of the heel, and furthermore, size can lend itself to dictate needs, tastes, trends, and even personality. Men don't stray too far behind because oftentimes they need that extra oomph to not look like an overachieving Oompa Loompa. And the phallic paraphernalia department, it's similar in concept to some of those mentioned above, but the applications obviously differ somewhat since you can literally tailor make your own best friend, no matter what weird pubic pet peeve you may have. As for food, well, subs and pizza depend on the almighty inch because remember, a foot long is always shown with a ruler showing just how satisfying 12 inches can really be. But the obsession over the almighty inch when it comes down to gender borders on awe-inspiring. If you're not too keen to accept this hypothesis, then by all means tell me what you think about when I mentioned 34, 24, 36. If you're thinking Powerball numbers, odds are pretty good that you have a gambling problem. Most likely you'll think of those fictitious Barbie measurements we're sold as the ideal and what all women should strive for. If we happen to hear someone say 6 to 10 inches, what do you think about? Odds are that something meaty comes to mind and probably not value menu items. The funny part is that in this obsession competition, no one really wins. The base reason for the obsession is the same. Call it vanity, self-pride, self-worth, confidence, or what have you. But the quest for the perfect inch is something that crosses demographics, religions, boundaries, age, gender, and several other categories. It's not to say that everyone in the whole world is obsessed with inches, but it might not be going out on a limb to say that most first world countries that don't have the real world problems severely improper societies do face have an obsession with what they're packing around their midsection. But that's not the saddest part. The saddest part of this whole discussion is that for how logical it may be, we don't put the same focus and energy 30 inches north of the midsection. So that, and that. Well, if you're from Canada, that's what you're going to be thinking. Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. But I don't know, if you say that to a guy in a casual conversation, I don't think they're going to be thinking about snow. They might be thinking of something to plow, but not snow. So there's that. Any questions? Okay, so I'm looking at the dish. That one was originally in English, but I did want to show a bit of variety. There are some other things that I wanted to show. And again, these are pieces that normally don't get the audience that I would wish they had, because most people, oh, I don't talk English, so I don't speak English, so I'm not going to read it, or I don't speak Spanish, so I'm not going to read it. It's like, ag. So there's that. Okay, this one looks like the apple pie. Let's see what else. This one is more yellowish. This might be turkey. As you can see by my joyous reaction, that is not good. Oh God. That's turkey. I'm so happy I have tea. I wish it were hotter to burn my taste buds. It has to be turkey. Oh God. Oh. That was special, people. The captain bringing me something in case I need to spit. See? Amo. That's why she's the captain, and I'm just a silly man sailing in the what does Steve say? Sailing the flavor seas or something when he was at Scoops Ahoy. This flavor adventure. Oh God. That's too kind. Thank you so much, Joe. Okay. That one is god awful. And I have another one that's god awful, and I have cranberry. But I'm gonna drink a little bit more water. I am the first mate because I am a Métis. Métis. I had to drop in a pun in there. So in terms of nonfiction, I wanted to push something that was a little bit more cheeky, and in poetry as well. Lauren, the first one was actually good. The first one was apple pie. Apple pie is good. The one that actually tastes like turkey, it's bad. This mug is in case I need to spit. This mug is the tea, which I shall not spill. And this is water. Anything for entertainment, Dan. Good to see you, huh? So I'm going to read you back to back 2 poems so that you can see what I mean by variety. And actually, these are 2 in English. Yeah, I want to share these 2 in English because you're back to back. One page, the other page. Again, pushing for range. So the first one is actually, I love this poem. It actually won me some money in college. It won first place in poetry in Sagrado Corazon, and it also won in. Did it win in the UPR? No, I actually did a short story there. So this actually, I am an award-winning author. Damn it! This is called Marquis de Sade. I'll read this and I'll tell you where I got the inspiration from it. Maybe you've heard me read this before. If not, enjoy it. My arm for a quill, my soul for a pen, for words and a will, for letters to friends. A word or a phrase, what a succulent thing to search for and gaze, to speak or to sing. A written exorcism for demons within, fit for all seasons, from winter to spring. My arm for a quill, my soul for a pen, my search, what a thrill, I'll do it again. Some blood or some wine, any will do, to write and to dine on words in a book. Just give me a word, a letter, a syllable, then time and some ink, I'll make you a miracle. My arm for a quill, my soul for a pen, with ink as my tool, and a muse for a friend. Fun fact. I watched the movie Quills that has to do with the Marquis de Sade, and it has Jeffrey Rush, and Jeffrey Rush, Joaquin Phoenix, and I'm blanking on the actress, Kate Winslet. It is a sensational movie. It is an intense movie. I came out of the movie buzzing, and I took a napkin and I wrote down the thing. And this is the thing. I didn't edit this thing. I wrote this in 4 minutes. A lot of the poetry that I write, yes, Kate Winslet. For the win! For the win! And thank you, Lauren. I'm happy you like that one. Yes, pick up the link. Pick up a copy. The link is in the search bar, in the description. That was not a good transition. So let's keep on doing this. So I wrote that in like 4 minutes. Maybe I corrected a typo. That's about it. And I like capturing lightning in a bottle with poetry often. So when I write something longer or something that's more crafted, it's just a different mind almost that I'm using. Here I'm just like channeling the words. So that one was Marquis de Sade. This one is called Ode to the Stock Photo Girl. She's in 10 magazines displayed across 50 ads, from skimpy penny underwear to holding a bag that is glad. Royalty-free, or is it rights managed? Verify those legal terms before heart and wallet are damaged. She's kind of Hispanic, kind of Indian, with a little bit of magic and a little bit of Photoshop. She might even be Korean. She's everything and nothing, a nobody in 60 pictures, a Betty who gets men frothing with curves that cause seizures. All I did was search for peppers, and there she was, amidst greens and veggies, pricking up her wonderful succotash. Oh, please, sweet picture girl, tell me you exist. Don't just come in dreams and visions, or in the third insert of a press kit. Truth be told, she really is the best in stock, a woman many would marry, and one that stirs my curiosity. So, a little bit of backstory there. Let me see. I got 3 more, so I'm going to read another poem, then go back in. I know I have 3 more, so 3 more. Yeah. Working in advertising, you have to search stock photography. And I was once in a team that possibly, The Crow is such a good movie. It's such a shame that Brandon was so good. The thing is that is the same year that Joaquin Phoenix did that one and Gladiator, and both of them are sensational. His role, I don't think Russell Crowe deserved the Oscar for that one, but that's a whole other ball of wax. So, stock photos. When you have to look for stock photos, going back to translation, I talk English a lot, hence all the books and stuff. And sometimes artists in Puerto Rico needed help finding images and stuff. So basically, we were looking for peppers. And suddenly, it's like I was looking for, I think it was bell peppers or something like that. And suddenly, a lot of inappropriate pictures started to come up in a stock photography website. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then other people tried the same exact search. And I'm talking like super, these words, it did not have hot, it did not have anything. And someone hacked it or something. And we were seeing pictures that we're like, hey, we're not looking for this. This is just what appeared. So that's where that little ditty came from. It's just sometimes you come across some weird stuff just because you search for the wrong thing in the wrong place. But still, okay. So going back, if I'm not mistaken, I have 3 flavors to go. I have one that's potentially good, another that's potentially good, and one that's potentially bad. Everyone here is apparently in the mood for green beans. I am not. We'll see if I have to spit this one. So I'm also doing 2 to make sure that I have coverage and I get the flavor because I care. Oh. I think the turkey one was worse. Mm-hmm. Good to see you, man. Not good. I will describe it thusly. I like cornbread. Try to imagine cornbread that's gone bad. That is, I almost got an idea. It's bad. The turkey was worse. This one was just, I had worse expectations. I think the turkey is the worst by far. I didn't finish chewing this one because as soon as this came, I was like, no. And I'm not on hot ones, and I'm not getting this monetized and paid a bunch of money. So I'm not going to push through. It's awful. So, and yeah, just moldy cornbread. Miss Jonesy, you missed me trying to tackle the turkey. The stuffed turkey is atrocious. It just it's just hot wires your brain, and it's a short circuit of it's just bad. And from what I know, I don't think I've ever seen any place that keeps cornbread long enough for it to go bad. But it had that musky feel. Have you ever smelled bread mold? It kind of tasted like that. So I hope I don't get food poisoning. I don't think so because I did read a little bit about what I was submitting myself to, and they said that the green beans was pretty bad, and it is. Oh, by all means, I would do that in a heartbeat. I want enough. People want enough success to have a mansion. They want a Lamborghini or a Tesla or whatever. I want to have enough success to justify me being on Hot Ones with Sean. Sean is such a great interviewer. He looks like a cool dude, and I'm always curious about all the sauces. Do I think it would truly suck from the bomb afterwards? I am 1,000% sure that it would suck. Well, I once heard someone say that a professor ate moldy bread and it's not supposed to make you sick or anything, but I have smelled moldy bread that was like, ew. It's just off-putting. So I have earned reading this next poem. This one's called Reflection on a Flower, Reflexión por una Flor. In this spiral life waywardly circular, counting woes within this world, yet willing to conquer whatever I face, like the ocean kissing cliffs. Optimism doesn't fill me, pessimism drains instead. Conformity, oh, how it bores. Universalism specifies, while reductionism only blinds. Might it be that nothing's real, or is it that fiction touches everything? Everything is limited by pulping pupils and perspectives that fail at all attempts at omniscience. Yet you waste your life on matters like these, and it's a pity the effort you put and the price you pay. You'll end up like a hanging flower, its entire life looking at the ground for answers, and only when death comes does she gaze at the sky, which offers a much better perspective. Corn smut. I will not look that up because I every time that I hear people talk about, oh yes, I went to the cornhole tournament, I go like, okay, still not used to that. So the beats and the rhythms that you get in Spanish, you're not necessarily going to have in English. So this one feels a bit weird that way, but I like how it feels. I like how it sounds. I like how it flows, because it's just such a different, and I read the Spanish one and then I read the English one, and it's such a different experience that's why I ended up enjoying doing this project so much. It's just, it has a very particular and odd flow to it, and I like that. And I like that from a lot of the poems that I transcreated, because this is doing the process, making sure the words, this doesn't make sense. And then I read the whole thing and I go like, oh, hey, we have Mr. Mangle here. The author of Mona Lisa Smile. Good guy. And happy to have you here, man. By the way, you've missed me tasting some awful things that I wouldn't recommend. So that was the thing with poetry. Yes, I can translate it and push it till it eventually can rhyme and do stuff like that, or I can push for that. But I wasn't pulled to that. I was pulled to trying to capture that feeling from the poem rather than that. Okay, so I have 2 sets of candy corn to go, people. We got cranberry. We got what I really hope it's coffee, because it's brown. And if it's not coffee, I'm in trouble, people. I'm in a lot of trouble. I wouldn't put it past Brach to do anything like that. No. Thank you so much, Joe. People ask me, why do I write so much in English, and do I prefer English to Spanish? I prefer English to Spanish in terms of what I read, just because of the content that's there. In terms of language, I love both for very different reasons. When it comes to plasticity and malleability, what you can do with English is, for me, way more than what you can do in Spanish. But the root words in Spanish and the words themselves in Spanish, the unit of word. If you take a word in Spanish and a word in English, the weight of the word in Spanish for me is it's just much better. It's a more rigid but richer language. That's my impression. That's my opinion. I will, to see if this is the coffee. I'm actually going to start. Hope the brown. Oh, it could be. Oh, no. I wasn't sure about that. This question, in terms of where I'm selling, the all Spanish version, I will be sending to bookshops in Puerto Rico. The all English version, I will only have online and take with me to book events and stuff like that. It's just, I've realized that I can have the bilingual one, and I can have the Spanish one in the States too. But having the all English one in Puerto Rico wouldn't make sense. So I think this might be coffee. I really hope it's coffee. So, we have coffee. Mm. There was genuine terror, Bex. There was genuine terror. That was going to be something else awful. So, I still have to try the cranberry one. And I'm not going to say, victory. But the coffee one is good. I don't know if I've had one with coffee. I did have one that was caramel or something like that. Caramel corn, candy corn, stuff like that. It has that flavor to it. Not bad. And yes, coffee. I'm going to try all of them together, and then I'm going to combine those two to close the show. I'm taking flavor requests. I'm not going to take requests from the other stuff. There's no way in hell. So that was a transcreated poem. Now a transcreated essay. It's called Un Mundo de Sueños. A lot of what I write in nonfiction is trying to have a positive impact on people. Just invite people to dream. So a world of dreams. The world is filled with dreams. The ocean of desire flows with underwater ideas, stories, businesses, prose, poetry, and goals. We have those dreams, and not only one type of dream, but a cornucopia of potential waiting to pass from the subconscious to the heart until it beats into reality. The magic in all this is not in having the idea or seeing it clearly, but capturing it. The scent of potential sings hymns of hunger because although desire isn't everything, it does count for a lot. A dream comes true after an idea dances with discipline because there are few times that a dream comes true just because. Some dreams grow gradually like a tree, others even slower than that. Others are lightning bolts that strike and scream, "Capture me!" There are those who ask where these ideas are. Where do they live or where do they hang out? Because they never seem to come across them. These people are often the ones who have become deaf to the duet of the heart and soul. But whoever opens the doors of consciousness and allows desire to roam free, that person dances to their own rhythm and beat. This is because they do not draw from a well, but instead from a river. Water does not repeat in a river. There are no stagnant ideas, and although it is always the same river, in reality, it never is. Ideas are like that, though some may actually pass by the same place twice. It may actually take a long time for that return. Either that or the idea remained entangled in the branches of the psyche, demanding that it be brought to life. Everything leads to the ocean of ideas and dreams where those who open their rivers can receive the kindness of a dream. Some people use nets, others use fishing rods, some even use their own hands. But the call to catch is there. So there's only one question left. What are you waiting for to catch your dream? Even in the tumultuous times that we have, even, come on. Yeah. Well, the thing is that this one is not going to be in tazas. 2020 is going to be in tazas. Yes. For those who don't know, Mr. Joe Compton is looking to come to the Puerto Rico Comic Con next year. If you all want to get an idea inside your brain, the exhibitors have opened up. If you have questions, ask. If you have recommendations, look at my face. It's a good idea to go. It's a good idea to plan, but it's a good idea to go. Do I trust you guys? Well, there is the cranberry coffee one I'm going to try. Sorry for being, I just wanted to catch up with the comments. So, your streams. We want to capture stuff. And again, a lot of what I write in nonfiction is to try to motivate myself and motivate other people. So we have one final piece to read. And then for the recap of what's in the book, I'll give you a recap and I'll try the combo. So, cranberry. That's not good. I thought that was going to be good. I'm not going to do the combo. I'll do the combo to do the recap. That's not good. That tastes like bad medicine. You know that sometimes there's like Dimetap or something like that. You go like, oh, that's tasty. Not that. When you have, not Robitussin, but that's bad. I thought that was going to be good. That is not good. They have no idea how to do that. Fumble indeed. I could have sworn that one was going to be good, and it's not. It's definitely, they don't know how to do cranberry with candy corn. It's just not in them. So, finally, to wrap this up, we've been at this almost an hour. I talk a lot. I know that I talk a lot, but I hope it's been entertaining and you've had fun, people. It's called Two Sugars and One Secret. In Spanish, it's Dos Azúcares y un Secreto. I will give you a little background after I read the story. And tell you about a specific name. In Old San Juan, not everyone knows themselves, even if everyone does know everyone else. Among the more colorful characters in the Daily Cobblestone Chronicles, there is a man called My Corazón. If you wanted to see a true master in the art of selling lottery tickets or in being hungry, he was your guy. Fortunately, hunger wasn't something that lasted long for him. I saw him all the time, and each and every time he had the guarantee of a winning ticket along with his $1 million smile. 4, 6, 13, 19. The melody of his voice always seemed to inject some magic into those numbers, although if we're honest, there is no better spell in his repertoire than his smile to get a bite to eat. A couple of weeks ago, on a Wednesday, was a slow day for My Corazón. He had a handful of tickets to sell and about 3 times that in hunger pangs. Yet still he smiled, because nothing could take that away from him. Top of the morning, My Corazón, I said. And the same to you, mijo. Good to see you. Can I possibly tempt you with a lottery ticket or two? I had actually gotten paid, and if we're being honest, he got me on a great day. Sure thing, but only if you let me buy you lunch. Hey, you're the one who's supposed to win with these numbers. No worries, old-timer. Small price to pay to enjoy good company with my coffee. We ordered our food and sat outside to enjoy the breeze. It was one of those days that even it was pretty sunny, wasn't too hot. One of those days where it's quiet, but in a good way, and where your body just wants a good meal and some conversation. Damn, now this is a feast. Thanks, Slim. I owe you one. You don't owe me a thing, old-timer. My bills are paid, and I'm thankful for the good people in my life. The old man couldn't help but give me a bona fide Colgate smile before his next bite. Your mom really outdid herself with you, didn't she? I do my best to make her proud, but she's a tough act to follow. I think you'd give her a run for her money. I don't know about that, though I'll always do my best, that's for sure. I raised my cup of coffee to toast with the old man when I caught a twinkle in his eyes. What do you have up your sleeve, old-timer? Slim, this feast is absolutely terrific. You didn't have to do this, but you did. Although my thanks are yours, I also want to give you something else. Nah, man, there's no need for that. I know, he said with a voice as gentle as a smile. Now don't go worrying your head. What I have has helped me out of many a pinch and been plenty generous in other times. Life continues to be kind, and it's time for me to pay it forward. He turned around to look inside his jacket, which he'd put on the back of the chair. From there, he pulled out a page of lottery tickets that looked more like it deserved to be in a museum than out in the open. He held it a second in his hand and turned to look at me again with that twinkle in his eye again. What's that, old-timer? That's a secret between you and me, although you don't have to worry much about me. After he handed me the sheet, I unfolded it and realized that although the color looked weathered, there was no other trace of wear on the paper. It was immaculate, and the scent of it swam with something from my childhood. When I saw the number, I realized it was 461319. That's the same number as today. That's why I'm giving it to you. Because if I've hit the jackpot, you also deserve to hit it, son. Behind that smile, I saw something in the eyes of the sweet old man, and without knowing why, a need to flip the sheet came over me. When I did, I saw a detailed map of Old San Juan, drawn and written with such gorgeous and fluid lines that it begged the question, who was the artist? But it wasn't an accurate map per se. Although the street names were the same and the buildings were in the same places, I could see a forest surrounding the Bayaha barracks. I saw trees drawn into different plazas where I knew there were no trees. I saw some arches and towers and countless names I've never heard. There were little figures drawn in the windows of buildings, peeking from bushes and from behind trees, and I couldn't help but think that they looked like, well, fairies. Even at the smaller scale, I could see them clearly, as well as other dark figures that bordered on looking menacing. Fangs showing even if the figures on the map were pretty tiny. I kept scanning the drawing and saw other figures I was unable to describe because I'd never seen anything like them. What is this, old-timer? A fairy tale? Eating and relishing the last bite on his plate, old my corazón gave me the biggest smile ever. A fairy tale? That would imply there's only one. And I leave it at that because I will be writing a collection of short stories set in Old San Juan. That story is originally in Spanish. I will do this series in English. When? Who the hell knows? I have a lot of other projects that I'm working on. My corazón. Two things. The character is based on an old lottery ticket seller in Old San Juan, Billetero. Such a sweet guy. Miguel was Manuel was a super sweet guy. I still remember the smell of him and the lottery tickets and just him. He had such a cool smile, such a cool guy. He was a friend of the family and whatnot, and he was always very, very kind to me. My corazón is what someone who helped raise me called me when I was a kid. My corazón. It's a made-up word, and I liked it, and I wanted to include that there. So, there you go. There is not just one world. There's not just one world. This is a happier upside down. Let's call it that. Okay. To do the recap, I said I was going to do this. I don't think this is a good idea, but hey, I took a request and I'm gonna stand by it. Nope. Did not make it any better. The cranberry is so nasty that it dominates the coffee. How bad is that? So no bueno. So there you go, guys. We've been at this an hour. If you have any last minute questions, if not, we can keep this at a nice tidy hour. That would be cool. This is on Amazon. Translated and transcribed this with a lot of love. Cuban history is intense. It tastes really bad. It no bueno. So I'm gonna read you the titles of what's here. So to pique your curiosity. So the short stories: The Puzzling Pandora, Predicament, Journeyman, and Celsius, which I already talked about. Essays: An Obsession with Inches, which I read. Some Small Stuff Should Be Sweated. Waves Are Our Support Group. We Are Living in 1984. What Does Faith Feel Like? The pejorative equivalent of Voldemort, which might get me in trouble, but stuff that I think that we have to talk about. And The Power of Contact. Poetry: there are these titles: The Cup, Dilema es Nada, The Forget-Me-Not, Marquis de Sade, Ode to the Stock Photo Girl, Rant for Me, Smoke, Stop a Dealing, A Path with a Y, and Armor. From these, Rant for Me and Stop a Dealing were highly influenced by Annie DeFranco and how she writes her music, and I'm a big fan of Annie. And the transcreated poems, Drunk with Confusion, Clarity, Spanish Mountains, Mother Mine, My Harvest, The Fly, First Lust Jury, not luxury, lust jury, Reflection for a Flower, Revelation, Second Call, Transcreated Essays, Puerto Rico Salsa, Puerto Rico Reggaeton. The good old days and what Puerto Rico is now. I love my island, but man, it's got some issues. A pity that the Ay Bendito is for people and not the island. Another thing that is related to Puerto Rico. January in the morning, December at night. Too many steps tire. Creativity doesn't discriminate. Returning your creativity. A world of dreams. And the transcreated short stories, Lane Change, Between the Lines, Two Sugars and One Secret, which I just read. And there's a brand new piece at the end of this, which is called Second Light, which talks about me speaking a second language. If you pick it up, I hope you enjoy it. Please review it. If you like this live, I do want to do more of these. So by all means, click that like and subscribe button because it's good. Massage it. Love it. and stay tuned. I have a couple of stuff in my brain that I will be sharing. If you have any other requests or random stuff, I will have more publications. So keep those in mind. Until next time, thank you so much for being here with me. And peace, love, and Mikey Rolls.